This is going to be another SHOT Show 2025 video, and as you probably guessed, we couldn't have SHOT Show without Tops Knives. I mean, if Tops Knives wasn't here, SHOT Show would not be able to exist.
Wow.
So,
wow.
At least for us, it wouldn't. So
nice.
We're gonna take a look at some new offerings from the folks at Tops Knives coming up next year on Survival on Purpose. Survival on Purpose's coverage of the SHOT Show is sponsored by Hog Holsters, helping Americans wear guns, and Excess Sights, the fastest sights in any light. Hog Holsters and Excess Sights, both proudly made in the USA. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose coverage of the 2025 SHOT Show. I'm here with Craig from Tops Knives. We're going to take a look at some really cool knives. You know I love me some Tops. Great knife company, made in the USA, and absolutely first quality stuff, 100%. So Craig, thanks again for taking the time to talk to us. I've been watching, coming by. You've been busy as a cat on a hot tin roof, as they say, which is good. This has been a really busy show this year, which is makes me optimistic for our economy really going forward.
Agreed. It feels like 2019 SHOT Show.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like the last 4 years didn't even happen.
which man, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
So anyway, we got some little knives. We've got some bigger knives. We got a reimagined knife, and let's just start with this one because this one drew my attention. Tell us about that. That was kind of just a different.
So this is called the Backbite. This was designed by a guy named Colin Despens. We've been making the Backbite for longer than I worked for Tops. So probably, we're probably pushing 15 years or more that we've been making the Backbite. It's a crazy tactical knife. The guy that designed it based on some of the Russian martial arts. He's a bright guy. He's a little bit eclectic. He's proud to be violent. That's him. Every knife that we have made for him, we've got 3 designs, about to be 4 designs with him. They're all this kind of knife. They're not bushcraft. They're not survival. They're not. He's very proudly this is for people.
Yeah.
And so he and whether that's self-defense or whether that's offense. If you're in the military, a lot of times you're on offense, and so that's what this is for. What's different about this, compared to the older version, is it is fully serrated on both of the edges. The idea with this is that if you're using a knife that you're carrying for self-defense on a daily basis, if you use it for any kind of EDC tasks, you're dulling the edge that you need to have to make the cuts that you need to make to end a fight so that you can live. And that's not a good idea. Hopefully you're carrying a couple of knives. Hopefully you've got an EDC and then maybe a self-defense, but not everybody's can or not everybody does. And so the idea here is that you've got a serrated edge that's gonna hold up to some daily use. If you need to cut some cord or cut some basic things, the serrations don't dull the same way as a regular edge will. Yeah. Even if the serration is kind of dull, it'll still cut. But once you get a blade that's kind of dull, you're gonna lose a lot of that power. Yeah. And so basically, we added serrations to the whole edge on this. It's already a pretty crazy knife. Now even crazier. I would say maybe 15% crazier. We changed the handles on it. Normally it's a black linen micarta. We did black and red G10. Just keep it kind of dark. Keep it more of almost like a blackout type edition. Same knife, just 15% crazier.
That's what drew my attention to it. Maybe I'm 15% crazier. I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah, so that one I'm excited about. It's a cool knife anyway.
Yeah.
The serrations, I'm not a serration guy. Normally I will stay away from serrations, but the concept, the idea that the way he articulated it being a knife that is for a certain thing, the serrations make a lot of sense because that's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
You're not gonna want to get cut by that. So his concept is sound, I think.
Yeah. So moving along, this one caught my attention, and it looks like it would be very well balanced.
Yes, sir.
And tell us about this. That's so cool.
So this one is designed by another longtime designer for Tops by the name of Lassi Szabo. He was born in France. He served in 2 different branches of the military. He's a cop now in New Mexico. Great dude, trains hard. You know, he's the kind of cop that you want on the force. He's the guy that's not afraid to get into it. He'll do whatever he's got to do to protect people, and he treats it as I'm here to serve and protect. It's not a power trip for him. It's something that he's wanted to do since he was a kid. We did actually did a podcast with him. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, and it was really, for me, that was a really great conversation because he talked about how his whole childhood he wanted to be in the military and help people and be a cop, and he did all of those things.
Yeah.
You know, like,
good for him.
not a lot of people can say that they accomplished their childhood goals, and
Exactly.
He did. So
Yeah.
we've got a few models with him. The Felony Stop is one. The Zabo Express is another, and the U.S. Combat Knife, that's also his design.
Yeah.
So this one he brought to us at the Blade Show last year, and we were like, yeah, we're making it for sure. It's named the Shiro Dagger. His son's name is Toshiro, and so it's kind of a play on Toshiro and Dagger. So that's where the name comes from. So it's significant for him. So we like that a lot.
Yeah.
1095, great kind of spade type shape on this, double-edged obviously. The handle has a great tread on it to provide a lot of grip. We're going to call that gator tread. It is super grippy, great design, comfortable handle. I do believe it would be great as a thrower as well.
Who would throw a knife? I think it would a perfectly good knife.
I could probably think of a guy or two. But yeah. So we're excited about this one. It's been a while since we had a dagger that was just strictly a dagger, you know.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, it really is very, very. All puns aside, it's very well balanced. It just feels good in your hand, and it's really cool looking too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Great lines on it.
And then not finally, but the next. This is a reimagine of a knife that I've already done a review on. That was really, really one of my favorite knives, to be honest with you. And it's a Bushcraft Global, but it's a little different than the original Bushcraft Global.
It is. So
Brakimo.
the Brakimo we've been making for, I want to say 6 or 7 years. It is, I put it along the same lines as the Bob, the Brothers of Bushcraft. It's got a little bit longer blade, a pointier tip, but it's in that same wheelhouse, you know, 4.5 to 5 inch blade, Bushcraft, Scandi grind knife.
Yeah.
It's been very popular for us. It's been a great model, and we've been wanting to do more with Joe. You know, we've been friends with Joe since Tops has been friends with Joe since before I started working for Tops, and since I started working for Tops, every time we see Joe, you know, he's a hoot, and so he's a great dude. He's a brilliant guy. Loves the outdoors, loves knives, loves animals, loves bugs, you know, loves all the things that are just interesting to him. And so the original Brakimo was designed to kind of be like a companion knife for his Bushcraft Global trips. It's done, like I said, it's done really well for us. This we're calling the Brakimo Slim. Basically, it is narrower and thinner. So the blade in particular is thinner, and then just the overall profile is just a little bit narrower. So it's sleek. It's got a green G10 handle. This is not necessarily the finish it'll have or anything, but we wanted to throw some G10 on there just to contrast from the micarta of the original. It's still got the bow drill divot kind of built into that tread. It's probably going to be stainless, and so we are planning to do the 90-degree spine on it. You know, a lot of people, especially nowadays in the bushcraft world, like that's almost a requirement. So we're going to do it on this knife for sure. Great knife. I have long enjoyed the Brakimo. I think if I had to pick between the Brakimo and a Bob, I would pick the Brakimo.
I would too.
And it's not that I dislike the Bob.
Right.
I like the pointier tip.
Yeah.
That's like the main thing. And so I'm excited about this one. That handle is, I think, every bit as good, if not better, than the other Brakimo. The tread feels nice. It's not like rough on your hands. Like I say, we're probably going to do stainless. We'll probably do actually 2 versions to start. And so we'll probably do a stainless and a 1095. It's just going to be a great overall blade.
Yeah, and
So-
it really drew my eyes because it's just got good lines. And that doesn't necessarily mean, but typically I can look at a knife and realize. I mean, I guess I've used so many that I can say that's going to be a good working knife, just from the lines of it and the way it looks and the way it feels.
Yep.
And so this is a prototype. This was a prototype, right?
Correct.
And these,
yes.
when do you expect these to be out?
Our plan is to have them out before the end of the year. That's always our plan.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't happen, but I think this year we're going to be able to push everything through
Cool.
what we're trying to get done.
Cool. I look forward to that. Because I know a lot of times we're looking at knives here at Tops. You're getting to see knives before they're actually out available to the public, which is kind of a sneak peek for you. But we also got one that's actually released now.
Correct.
Out of production, released for sale at the show, and it's not a little knife. But I think Joe Flowers would like this one because he likes those machetes. And so, yeah,
Joe
tell
Flowers
us about
definitely
this bad
likes
boy.
this one. So this is the X16 Gununting. It was designed by a guy actually from our hometown. His name is Adam Boyce. He goes by Spartan Mode on his social pages. He works for a government company. Like I guess I can't say exactly where he works, but he does cool stuff. He does firearms at his day job. He does knives at his as a hobby. He trains with Martial Blade Concepts. He's a trainer for them. And so this guy has he's got a ton of experience. He was a sniper. So between firearms and knives and jiu-jitsu and all this stuff, he's a well-rounded guy. One of the nicest people you'll ever meet. We were joking earlier that as a sniper, he probably, anytime he had to shoot somebody, he probably apologized. He's a great dude. And so years ago, he approached us to make a knife for him as a prototype because he was a backup contestant for that Knife or Death TV show that was like the spin-off of the Forged in Fire.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't end up being on the show, but we made the knife and he went out and beat on it and tested it and had a lot of fun. And then it kind of got put away for a few years. And I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. I was talking to Leo and I was like, hey, we were going through old models and then we just ran across this in some of the prototypes we were looking at. And we were like, maybe we should make this for real. Maybe we should put this into production. We make big blades. This is one of the biggest. I mean, between the Kuma Cage or the Kuma Kage and this, there's not, we don't really make swords, and so we didn't want to make something that was not actually a tool. And we didn't want to make like a toy. We didn't want to make a thing that was going to be like Mall Ninja, not actually useful. We tried to make everything useful. And it took us a while to kind of come around to blades this size. But we're glad we did. It's a Filipino sword. It's based on the martial arts. They use a lot in Eskrima. And so for that show, for that TV show, this knife would have excelled. I mean, it's got the crazy chopping power. It's got that kind of pull cut that you can do. So a lot of the cutting tasks that they would do on that TV show, this thing would handle just like a breeze. It would have been. He would have done very well on the show.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we decided to put it into production. We made it available for sale to dealers as of yesterday, the start of SHOT Show. Starting next week, it'll be available to direct to consumers, and we'll be shipping to dealers and distributors as of next week as well. So This one is not just being shown off as a new model, but it is available.
Yeah, it's a real deal, and that is
hefty.
It is hefty. It's got a great big long handle, so you can almost choke up two-handed, and just really, really, really cool. I mean, I like it. So, and are you doing differential heat treat on everything still?
Most things. So stainless steels, they're through hardened. You don't typically oil quench stainless steels, and so you can, but it's harder to get a differential heat treat on those.
Yeah.
So typically on our 1095, yes, we're still doing a differential heat treat on pretty much all of it. Stainless steels are through hardened.
Sure,
Yeah.
but you're doing all that in-house, right?
Correct.
You do your own
Yes.
heat treat, so you
Yes.
got your own process that absolutely is proven, in my opinion. So,
Yes.
well, cool. So, you got the internet. You're watching this video. You know how to look up Tops Knives on the internet, and check out what they've got. I'm telling you, if you need a really solid, and I'm not just saying it's because I'm sitting with Craig, but if you need a solid knife, you can literally count on and depend on to do the job, whatever that job may be, whether it's bushcraft or whether it's other things. You need to check out Tops Knives, really. I mean, they do a really good job, and they're made in America. They're veteran-owned. Many of the people working there are veterans, and they're our kind of people, okay? So thanks, Craig, again.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Survival on Purpose coverage of the 2025 SHOT Show. Remember, survival's not an accident. Be prepared. I'll see you next time.